Hey everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you guys my February monthly budget. This is me using my monthly budget worksheets. I do utilize a monthly budget just kind of as an overview, as like an estimate. My paycheck budget is truly where I put in all of the details. So if you guys are interested to hear me explain our monthly budget, what we use to get us organized, then keep on watching. All right, so I have mentioned this app many times, and I will mention it again, but where I get these numbers that are written in my monthly budget is from the Every Dollar budgeting app, and I will allow it to load. This is the Every Dollar budgeting app. It's really nice. So if you are not like into the paper and pen budgeting method, then definitely try this out, or at least try this kind of like your rough draft for creating your budget. But you literally just go in and you plug in all of your numbers. And essentially what I do, I just take that from my computer and I just write it in on my monthly budget worksheet. So let me zoom you guys in, that way you guys can see a lot of the detail here. We start off with the income section of the budget. So if you printed this on paper, you can put it in a binder. This is also available to fit a classic happy planner as well, and you'll just cut along the edges. With our budget, there's a few things that we're still working on perfecting. And with each of the budgets, just know that it's not going to be perfect. A budget is a system that you can create a guide so that you will reference back to and see if it works for you or not. A budget tells your money where to go, but sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you planned, and that's okay. So just know that. But with our budget, what has changed, and I've mentioned this many times, but just in case you're new, a big change for us is that we have gone from a fixed income to now a variable income. My husband, he works for himself full time, and every month we kind of just don't know what he's gonna make. It all depends on the jobs that he does. So what we did differently this month is I asked him, when we had our budget meeting, what is your expected payment that you will receive for the jobs that you are going to complete for this month and actually get paid this month? And so he gave me the number, and that is what I wrote in here. We kind of lowballed it. So this is substantially more than what we've ever made in our lives, to be perfectly honest. And that is a change. So we are trying to see whether or not he's going to be paid monthly, or if we are to do what we've been doing, which is giving him the pay each week that he completes a job. So we really don't know. We're still evaluating that since this is brand new to us. So with that being said, let me go and explain our budget. So the income, we have my husband's and mine. Mine is extremely low, and that is because being that my husband works for himself, he doesn't have access to getting insurance. So it's a better insurance for him to go under me through my job. So I just added him to my insurance plan, vision, medical, all of that. He is under my plan. Therefore, my income is like, it's really just low. It's just so low. Let's just take a moment and look at how low. But we are fully covered with insurance, so that is the most important thing. And my husband, he covers the bills. So now this miscellaneous that is budgeted for, we receive $180 from my parents because they're under our phone plan. We have a family plan, and I never included this in our budget. I don't know why, but truthfully, we do receive money from my parents because they pay their phone bill. So I have to include that because the breakdown of the phone bill is different than what I had actually budgeted for, which was our budget, but it wasn't what came out of our bank account. So I have to change that and actually write what comes out of our bank account, what we receive in our bank account. Hope that makes sense. So we've included that now. So those are the couple things that changed for this month. Now the next piece of my monthly budgeting is a breakdown based on percentages. I learned this from Jordan Page. She goes all out talking about living off of 70%. And I did that. We started with 80 when we had debt, moved down to 70. And now that my husband makes so much more, we really don't feel that we need to increase our way of living just because he makes more money. So let me just repeat that. Just because you may have gotten a pay increase, if you've gotten a new job opportunity, if things changed for you income-wise, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to increase your expenses. You don't have to do that if you're wanting to work on other goals that you have in place. So that is what we're doing, trying to maintain our living like we have been, and applying a lot of our extra income towards emergency savings and things like that, our goals. So this is the breakdown of our percentage formula for the month of February. We are hoping to set aside 60% of our income going towards expenses, and the total for that is $4,230. That's the goal, not to go over that dollar amount. Even though that is so much money, we're not going to live like that's too much. So our goal is to live less than that. The next piece is our goal amount, which is 30%, which we want to go towards savings goals. That's sinking funds, that's emergency savings. That is what we want to set aside, which comes to $2,115. And then the tithe part of the percentage formula is 10% of what our income is. Really, it doesn't include the 180, but I included it in here because I just did that. So it's really the income earned from our jobs, not this, because that goes to our bill. So I really should adjust that. That's gonna bother. Let me adjust that right now. All right, I got that all fixed now. So the correct number shows there for the tithe. I also had to update a couple of other things too that I noticed. Giving is an essential part in our budget. So let me repeat, 10% from what is the earned income. We do tithe off of that. And then we felt in our heart to be able to give above that. So we do give an offering now. And so where we find this number is we'll take 15% as a total for giving. So we allocate 10% of that. So we'll take these two numbers, multiply it by 15%, and then we'll just deduct what the 10% is, and what's left over, that is what we're choosing to give as an offering. So now these numbers is from, again, the EveryDollar app. These are our fixed expenses. Now, some of these may change, like our water bill. We still have not received the actual water bill for the month, so I'm just doing like a rough estimate, an average of what our water bill typically is. It could be more than that, but that's where, as the month progresses, we do make adjustments as the weeks progress. So that's why paycheck budgets are essential for us. So the total for expenses comes to $2,375.80. So now let's look back at the expense percentage formula. We said that our goal would be to live off of at least $4,230, right? That's a lot to live off of. And I know that we don't live off of that much. That's just extreme. So if you take that total, the $4,230, and subtract what the total expenses is right here, $2,375.80, it leaves us with $1,854 left to still budget for, to be within that amount. So now where that number, we apply it towards different categories. So at the moment, we are not cash budgeters because of our current lifestyle. My husband, he is doing like the groceries and stuff, and it just makes sense for it to be in an account where he can easily access to get groceries. And we've just noticed us pulling out our debit card more often, doing like grocery pickups and that sort of thing. So having cash didn't make sense to us to be running back and forth to the bank. So it's just a personal decision we're seeing, because we only have done this for maybe a month and a half going cashless. So we're gonna look back and see, does this make sense for us still? So these are the categories that we are budgeting out for specific like variable categories. Eating out groceries, home, and allowances. I used to call this our spending, and my husband said he didn't understand that when we had our budget meeting, and I get it. I just considered spending like anything that we wanted to buy. He would have some money and then I would have some money. So we're splitting this in half where we will each get $200 for like an allowance to do what we wish for this month. So total for the category is $1,080. So we're gonna take that remaining amount and I'm just gonna subtract the $1,080, and we're $774 below what the goal amount was from the percentage formula. So using the percentage formula for your budget, you don't have to be like so firm about it. You could just use it as a guide where your goal would be to live off of that amount or less, like we are. So now the remaining amount that we are budgeting out is $2,564. We are zero-based budgeters, meaning that we give every single dollar a place to be, and that is essential for our financial success. So we have sinking funds, and sinking funds, I could do a whole video on this if you prefer, but sinking funds is essentially where you figure out what you want to save for a specific event, a trip that you want to go on, you want to buy something, and you give it a deadline. Some of these, we don't have a specific dollar amount that we are wanting to save up for. It's just kind of like a random number. For example, car maintenance. We recently sold my car and we got a newer car. We paid for it cash, and there really doesn't need to be maintenance on it, but just in case, we do want to have like a savings specific for different repairs or things that may have to come up in the future. So some of those categories, you don't necessarily have to put a dollar amount, but it's just where you're slowly building up a savings for something that were to happen in your life. Okay, so I hope that that makes sense for you guys. But one of the big events that are taking place is my birthday. I am turning 30 this year, which is crazy. I'm turning 30 on March the 1st. My husband's birthday is also in March, so we typically celebrate our birthdays together, so like in the middle of the month. So we're hoping to plan like a little getaway. We don't know exactly what we want to do, but we really would love it to be just the two of us right now, just to spend quality time together. So yeah, that is a big event that's happening in March, so we do have to save for our birthdays. And the last thing is savings. So we are currently on baby step number 3 again. As I mentioned in the beginning, we sold our car and we did buy a new car, or a new to us car, and we bought it cash. The reason why we made that decision is because my car at the time was really struggling. It was not reliable at all, and it kind of kept my husband up at night. I was okay, honestly, because I only go a short distance to work and stuff, but my husband, he was really anxious about it, and so I just followed through with his decision for us to just go ahead and use our emergency savings to get to, make up the difference after we sold our car, and that's what we did. So now we are back on baby step number 3, where that's where we're building up our emergency fund. So we did that. It felt good to us. We didn't completely wipe out our savings, but we did use a majority of our emergency savings, so that way we won't go back into debt for getting my new car. You could do whatever you wish. This is what made sense for us, and that's why we did it. And then we have just a retirement savings account right now. I had said last month that our goal was to meet with a financial advisor. We still have yet to do that. So that is a priority in February. I will be calling around. I have it written on my planner, so that way we can set up an investment account for retirement for my husband. I have mine set up through my job, but it's important for him to have this set in place since he does work for himself. So that is everything, guys, for my monthly budget video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took something out of it and are just motivated to just get on a written budget and do it in a way that it makes sense to you and your family. It doesn't have to be complicated or anything. It just needs to be simple and make sense to you guys. So if you did enjoy today's video, then hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys in a brand new video. Bye guys.